Welcome. Woo-hoo. Hey, it's us again. First and Fifth Son podcast with your boys always, Pony B, also known as RVB Baker Jr. And you got my man,
Big Buck in the building. You dig what's going on, world?
What? We are here on episode 5, man.
Who drank my 5
We
last?
already here to episode 5. And we're going to be talking a little bit of the same and a little dash of more. So without further conversation, we're just going to jump up into this. How you feel about that, Big Buck?
Oh, that's cool, man. In the world of trucking today, man, I don't have no rules or fundamentals or laws to break down. I want to just kind of like skip around through this situation that we got going on in Canada, man.
All right.
Kind of give everybody a little bird's eye view who hadn't been following or who have been following. But I'm gonna skip right to it. They said how it all started. Understanding the protest, the demonstration was started because of the a mandate that they put in place. Okay. And so the mandate was behind COVID. All right. This is in short. I'm just giving y'all exactly what was going on. So once they put that mandate in place, the truckers felt like it was affecting them. It actually was affecting them. Okay, so they felt like they had to do something about it, to fight back, push back. So what they did was they came up with a plan to block off these certain roadways to show a form of protest. Okay, and that them blocking off the roadways, the protest actually stretched from Canada to the United States. They blocked off that particular bridge that kept you from coming into Detroit, off into Canada. Detroit, I think it's Detroit, yeah. So y'all can fact check that, but I know it's Detroit. I'm looking at it now. But yeah, so anyway, they got their protests on. They blocked everything off. And once they did that, the prime minister, he got to the point to where he was just like, look, man, if y'all not going to get out of the way, we're going to start arresting y'all. We're going to start violating y'all. And these violations are stiff. This is why I wanted to report on it, because these guys who are getting violated, you're going to get your truck towed. That's big. You're going to lose your CDL. That's even bigger. That's your livelihood.
Oh, I didn't know they were losing their CDL behind that.
Yeah. And you're going to jail. Okay, so you're going to go to jail first. Then you're going to lose your CDL. No, you're going to go to jail. Truck going to get towed. Then you're going to lose your CDL. So I was like, man, is it really fucking worth it? At the end of the day, a peaceful protest is one thing, but these guys are like, hey, they put it all on the line. And I commend them in a way, but I kind of don't commend them, because I don't think I'm willing to give up my livelihood as a trucker just to protest, unless I'm like at that point to where you really took something from me. But at this point, I mean, everybody protests in different ways, man, and they were willing to throw it all away. So I don't know if the prime minister made that clear to them that they were going to lose all of that if they didn't move. I don't know if they got that across to them, but this is what's... Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, they've been using gloved hands for a while, trying to tell them, hey, look, we need y'all to stop this because y'all affecting the workers of other people, like that blockade in Detroit coming across that bridge, the Ambassador Bridge.
Ambassador, that's what it is.
Yeah, they blocking people up there, and people getting laid off in Detroit because they can't get those pieces from Canada.
Those parts for the
I understand them saying what they got to say, but and I'm kind of like you in a way. You feel like you got to make a stand for something, just like Black Lives Matters and stuff.
Right.
You got the right to do that, but you also got to look at the pros and the cons. Who you hurting versus who you helping. And from some of the videos that I saw, man, I mean, some of these people that was out there, they weren't doing it just for the mass. They was doing it for a political statement. I mean, I don't understand if you say the mask mandate is hurting you, that you got a Trump banner out there and stuff, because Trump ain't the president. Trump ain't got nothing to do with it right now. But
they trying to say that some of the right wingers and Trump supporters joined in after. That's what they're saying. But I think it's a combination of all.
I was going to say, when I first saw it, when they first started reporting on it, they had Trump supporters there. Day one.
Right. So that it was a combo.
So, and I'm not trying to get into the political part of it, but I am trying to get into the economic part of it, which is, hey, if you say you for the middleman or the working class man and woman, then you should have some kind of sympathy of letting them parts through so they're not getting fired, because at the end of the day, business is going to keep running, but those blue collar workers that need those parts to put something in the car or put a machine together, they send them home without a paycheck. So you up there fat and happy because you got your truck blocking, and these families, you know, some of those blue collar workers vote the same way they do, you know, feel the same way they do, and now they hurting them. So what's really the agenda? To show your ass, or, you know, to get something done?
Their agenda, I'm a call recklessness on this whole agenda, man, because it's better peaceful ways to protest. And to me, I just feel like it was reckless, because I'm a driver. I care about my license. I care about my fellow trucker. I care about other people trying to, you know, work for a living and do their thing. I respect all of that. That's part of the game. That's part of the world. I ain't gonna say the game. It's part of the world. So when you put yourself in a predicament, you know, to where you stand to lose it all just to prove a point, so you're gonna walk away just to say, hey, I lost my livelihood fighting for what I believe in. Okay. Then what? What you gonna do after that? You're gonna have to go find another livelihood somewhere, making less, because you ain't gonna beat truckers' money. Yeah. Truckers' money, man, you're not gonna beat truckers' pay. So I mean, somebody might hire you somewhere else, but right now, you know, the United States and Canada, they like two peas in a pod. They together.
Interconnected.
So when you get your license revoked in Canada, hey, my man, you may not be able to get a license in the old US of A neither. So that was I don't even know what to call a move, but they threw it all the way.
I will say this: they're not the first truckers to do something like this.
It's been a while since we had a protest like that.
We've had some people do that. They do it a lot in France, in England. They shut stuff down. It's been kind of crazy over there with some things too, over the fuel. In the States, we had one where they took all the truckers. They went up to DC and went around that loop and blocked everybody, and you couldn't get around. That. But again,
that was years ago there, though.
Yeah. I'm telling my age, but my main point of bringing this up is that, you know, they brought it for a certain reason to bring attention, and then they moved on. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna stay here nonstop. No, we're gonna do this to bring attention. Once y'all start talking to us, we're gonna loosen up a little bit. So
we're gonna move out the way. I think that's the proper way to protest. I mean, don't. You know, get in the position to where you could get your negotiation, you could get your word in, and then get out the way. Don't lose it all. Man. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not taking sides at this point, because I understand as an African American how important it is to be able to protest, because that's all African Americans mostly do. We protest. We try to come out the right way. Every now and again, we go gun ho and we gonna grab that iron and just blast something and kill or be killed, but that's very rare because we are passionate people. But
some of us are.
The majority of us are.
I'm gonna say there's a lot of people that protest, and there's a group of people that really want to blast and shoot out. But the main thing is, when you talk about protest, you got to have an end game in it. If you're doing it the right way, you protest to have an end game in it. And I just want to throw that little segment part out there because, some people might be offended that are not about violence. And they look at protests as always a non-violent way to do it. And I'm not saying that they're right over people that choose violence. I'm just putting out there that there's different groups, whichever side of the thing you fall on, that say, well, sometimes we got to put them hands up, and other people say, no, we're going to keep it non-violence until the end. So I think we talked a lot about this this Canada trucker thing. That's a current event, and I want to kind of slide up into some other current events. We got a couple of things. We got a couple of things going out. First of all, when this thing comes out, it'll be the last week of Black History Month. It'll be the weekend before Mardi Gras officially ends. And we had a couple of things going on in the news that's is probably going to bring out some more protests. One of them being the Kim Potter trial. That's the ex-cop up here in my neck of the woods in Minnesota who was convicted for killing that kid. And they messed around and gave her 24 months prison time. But what is really awful about that is that 2 years she don't serve in prison. She only has to serve 16 months in prison, and then the rest she could do on house arrest. Now, some people were saying, hey, look, she didn't mean to kill him. I got that. She was remorseful, questionable, but I got that. But the issue is another cop in Minneapolis area did the same thing. He was remorseful.
To the white shit.
Yeah, they gave him 12 and a half years and didn't even bat an eye about it.
Yeah, because he was an Ethiopian guy.
Yeah. So my thing is, if you're going to do it, stay across the board. I don't care if the judge is crying. I don't care if the cop is crying. If they took a life and they were responsible for it, they should have to pay like everybody else. Now, I'm going to put that with a caveat. If the black cop would have only got 2 years, I still would have said that was wrong. Yeah, because it's not about black or white. It's about wrong or right. Innocent life was taken when it didn't have to be taken. So I look at it this way, I'm Monday morning quarterback, but I think you do something like that, 7 years should be the minimum.
I think 15 years, if you're going to give them a manslaughter mostly carries 15 years. If you do half of that, you'll bust a little 7 and a half, you dig, but I think I call it a free kill. She just got away with fucking murder. You got away with murder. If you would have killed my son, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to jail because I think I'm half-ass crazy like that. But I don't respect it. And the law is one-sided. Like you said, the black guy, he killed the person by mistake. Like you said, they gave him 12 years without batting a motherfucking eye. He gonna do a big 6. He gonna come home. He'll never recover from that shit. He gonna have to walk in the motherfucking lines of a murderer. He gonna have to pick up the pieces. Her family probably gonna hit his ass with a wrongful death suit, or the state, and the state gonna fucking rip all the little pension that he had. So I want to see if the kid who was murdered, if his family gonna go through with a wrongful death, hit the state.
I'm pretty sure they got Ben Crumple. They got some other people on there, but
Crump is on the case because he did a press conference.
Again, my whole thing is about the equality of the law. The laws are different in other places. Like you said, it's 15 years. I think up here it's 7 years. But my whole thing is let's make it equal. The judge actually was tearing up and talking about how the cop made a mistake, and talked about how Obama would want us to understand in somebody else's shoes. And I really took that as an unprofessional way of doing business, and really a way of just.
Was the judge black?
No, she was I don't know if she
Oriental?
was Korean, she was Asian. They don't say Oriental, say Asian. But
Asian, yeah. Well, why the fuck is
either
she
way,
bringing up Obama? I mean, what the fuck that guy?
I think what she was trying to do is get everybody to be calm and accept what it was. Matter of fact, the black DA up here said we should just accept it, and that's the way it is. But again, I'm not going out in the street and protest like some people are, but I'm gonna call it as I see it. And I call it bullshit because you've already shown that the legal system can't throw the book at the person that did wrong, even if it is a cop. She also brought up the jack wagon that kneeled on the guy's neck and killed him. Man, why am I forgetting names right now? Just
he's nobody to remember.
Yeah, but
Derek,
that clown,
Derek, his name
Chauvin,
Derek, Derek.
Yeah, she brought up Derek Chauvin, and I'm like, why are you bringing up Derek Chauvin? This case, you're right. This case has nothing to do with Derek Chauvin. Yeah. Derek Chauvin intentionally killed a man while the cameras was rolling. Now, if you want to bring something, you bring up that Ethiopian cop. I think I had his name up here, Muhammad Noor. You know, if you want to talk about the cases, let's talk apples to apples. This guy did
They made an example out of him.
Yeah, this was just a couple of years ago. This wasn't 10, 15 years ago. So,
but don't forget about the guy who shot the black guy in the back for walking off and paralyzed him.
Yeah, but I'm trying to keep this battle. No, that wasn't up here.
I thought that was in Minnesota. Oh, that was in Wisconsin. Yeah, that was Wisconsin.
What I'm trying to do is show them, because a lot of times when they have these debates, who is right, who is wrong, and the battle line's drawn, they talking about places of different areas, but these places happen right here in the Minneapolis area, not one city, two cities away from each other. And it's only been a couple of years since that happened. So how do you get a skewed decision like that? Well, and I really feel that the justice system failed on this one.
Well, let me just chime in. The nickname that I've heard it called when situations like this happen. People always say, "Oh, I guess that's the blind part of justice," you know, because they say justice is blind, you know. So that's the blind part of justice right there, because she's a ex-cop. She supposedly made a mistake. She was remorseful from the get-go. They just put all of that on it. You know, she put her twist on it. She even said, "I'm going to jail. I'm going to prison."
Yeah, she knew it. And I think a couple of things about that. She was remorseful for herself. She was never remorseful about killing a kid until they went to court. And she was like, you know, I understand as a mother. And she said this, you know, when she was getting her sentence. But before that, it was all about her. But even with that being said, I mean, I want to go back to what you said about the justice is blind. When they're talking about blind justice, they're talking about the people in power are not trying to weigh the scale. They're going to read the law, what is mandated for that, and they're going to do it. I don't think justice is blind in this situation.
Who handed down the sentence, right? The judge, right?
Yeah. I think the judge lifted up her thing and said, "Hey, I hear her crying. I feel sorry for her." So even though they asked for 7 years, we're going to go ahead and it's in my right to give her 2 years.
Right. Well, it's one of those things. It's one of those things to where, like you see on the movies, you see these cops, they kill somebody, or they shoot somebody, and they prepping them, and they say, "Okay, we're going to send you in front of this judge. This judge right here is for the cops," you know. And it's situations like that for real, man. Because, you know, I feel like the judges and the cops, the DAs, they all fall in the same. They fall together, and some of the damn defense attorneys fall into. You know, it's a favor for a favor. I mean, I remember like yesterday when I was the ripe old age of, how old was I when I caught my first drug charge? I guess I was about 17. I was 17, right there in the old projects, right? And so what happened is when you go to court, you get these, first you get a motherfucking a court-appointed lawyer, okay? And then it says something on here. What was it? Oh, anyway, you get a court-appointed lawyer first. And once you get the court-appointed lawyer, they give you that if you can't afford to buy a lawyer. Now, I mind you, that was my first time being in court as an adult. And I had some money at the time. So when they said, can you afford to get a lawyer? I was like, you need a lawyer? But anyway, the point I'm making, once I got it a little deeper into the system, by the time I caught my second charge, I learned a little bit more. So I ended up buying my own lawyer. You know, I had to get a lawyer. And then on top of that, I got a lawyer that was an assistant because I was informed by other convicted felons. They said, hey, man, get you one of them lawyers that work for the state or that used to work for the state. They got more pull. But the whole point is that all of them work together. They all in the justice system. They all in cahoots. It's all about who you get with. They got one lawyer that could get you this, one lawyer that could get you that. And they recommend each other. I ended up getting a ticket one time, right? A while back, I got a ticket. It was a rinky-dink ticket. It was all on my GPS, following the GPS. I was doing 50, I was doing 60 and a 50 because the GPS said it was 50, 55, and they had just cut it back to 50. My point is that I was in this little town in Tennessee. So I called about 3 or 4 lawyers. So the one lawyer told me, he said, hey, man, I'm going to give you a number of a lawyer who can probably help you because he handles these tickets in this area. So I was like, all right, give me his number. Boom, called the dude like clockwork. He said, hey, this ticket going to cost you about $600. I mind you, I was only going I guess I was going 5, 6 over, you know. So anyway, the dude told me it was going to cost me like $700 for the ticket. The ticket probably wasn't no more than 150, but I just didn't want it on my license, on my DAC report, because the company I was with, they told me they was going to fire my ass if I didn't get that ticket off of me. So, But anyway, I got the ticket taken care of. But the point I'm making is that I called 3 lawyers. By the time I got to the second lawyer, he told me exactly who to call, which lawyer handles this. And this lawyer was a state-appointed lawyer. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he worked for the DA in that court system. And I never even went before the judge. You see what I'm saying? So they all work together. The lawyers, the judges,
and that is something that's factual and probably part of the problem. You know, I'm not going to get too far on this because we got some other things we want to talk about. Right. Just going through the court system with this divorce and stuff while I was dealing with, I saw firsthand that they play a good game in the courtroom, but behind closed doors, and sometimes not behind closed doors, you know, they discuss this stuff over lunch and dinner because they went to school together. And depending on how the whole court situation feel about it, and I'm going to talk about divorcees, dads that's in the military versus moms that's dependent, usually they don't give a shit about you and they play it up in the court, but they're going to work their way that you are the bad guy until proven otherwise. So, the court system, definitely not blind. They definitely, just to sum it up, they definitely tried to work a deal instead of doing a trial. Because most cases, and anybody can look this up, most cases are figured out under a deal. Right. They rarely go to trial.
That's the usual situation, because if you go to trial,
it's easier for everybody. Well, it's easy for everybody. They throw the book at you, but they got to do a lot more work. It's going to cost a lot more money. And everybody would rather just go ahead, shake hands, and plead this thing out and go on to the next one. So maybe we need to talk about the court system for a special podcast, Jonathan. How you feel about that?
Yeah, we could, man, because it get extensive, man.
Because I got so much I can share about this area, a topic that we're talking about in different times that I've been to court, where I think a lot of people agree with us that it's definitely something that needs to be fixed. So do you want to cover another current event, or do you want to squeeze off into something else?
I was going to probably do my next segment on, we could do something else before I get to it, though.
Okay. I mean, since we hot and heavy on the hot topics, let me ask you what you know about the Olympics scandal up here that we had lately.
Oh, man, the poor 15-year-old girl, man, from Russia.
Yeah.
That's that one thing while we talking about skates. I'm gonna just spit two things out. Then we got this African-American. She won. She's the first African-American to win the speed skating a gold medal in speed skating. Let me see if I can pull up her name.
Yeah, that woman is made history. She just made history.
Yeah, and
she did it in Black History Month too.
Yeah, that's fire right there. Shout out to her, man. Congratulations on that. But back to the Russian kid, man, 15-year-old kid, supposedly got some type of she tested dirty. And then, of course, they were saying that when the track and field star tested dirty with marijuana in her system, they immediately shut her down. They didn't even let her perform. Yeah. So they let this kid perform. And I got a 15-year-old daughter. And we both know that 15-year-old kids ain't gonna be like, hey, Dad, Mom, I need some enhancement, performing drugs. I need something that's gonna give me this endurance. But they told one of the craziest lies, man. You know, everybody heard of the dog eating your homework type shit. Yeah. They said that this kid accidentally took grandpa's medicine. Yeah. And then one of them said that she drunk after her grandpa's son. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, come on, man. Kids are close to their grandparents, but that's a motherfucking blatant lie. Then they went to talking about how the Russians do to children, man. And that was
that's fact. Yeah. Russia and China, they constantly get in trouble for doping them up and making them performance ready and hope they don't pass it. But the issue I had about it is that, again, just like the court thing, it's a matter of, equality. Look, right. If you test hot, that's a wrap. I don't care what the excuse is. You come up hot, you disqualify. And it's not just a black and white thing. It's just what it is. There's a woman that
that's the rules.
She tested positive for I forget what she was in. I think it might have been track and field. And she said, hey, I ate a hot dog that had some pork in it that might have had some enhancement. And they didn't let her run. They were like, take that hot dog and pork, get up out of here. And Miss Richardson, who you're talking about, the young black lady who ran, she didn't even try to make it. Yeah, she didn't even try to make an excuse for it. She had said, hey, I smoked it, And
she said her mother had passed.
And to me, her mother had passed before.
No, but see, that's what she was saying, because, they go so far back. They go so far back because they taking blood. I don't know how far blood goes back.
But when she got busted, that was recent. That wasn't that was a recent random test that they had to do. But
so
again,
I guess she was saying that she started back smoking when her mother died. I think that's what she was saying. She had started back, but I don't know exactly how she was using it as the excuse. Yeah. But I was thinking that her mother passed and then she smoked and then she was in competition. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So that was a recent test. When they
But the whole thing that I'm saying is that when she did it, they trashed her. Trashed her name, trashed everything. But she didn't try to make an excuse. Other people made the excuse that her mama died and stuff. She was just like, it'd be like that. Right. And if you want to get into it, THC does not improve performance.
Not at all.
So if anything, they should have gave her like a fine and stuff to let her run. But my thing is this. If it's not going to be any kind of equality out there, excuses don't matter. The young girl from Russia, I felt sorry for her because she's a kid. But
she's a kid, for real.
She is an Olympian that's trying to win a medal, and she's got all kind of people on her team. So even though she's a kid, there's no excuse. I was listening to them say that, hey, they let her skate because if it happened that she took drugs illegally, somebody gave it to her because she's a kid. Let me tell you something about kids. A lot of people forget that when they was kids, when you hit the age of 14 to 16, you act like your piss don't stink and you know everything. So if there's a way for you to bump up and get over there, kids don't think about the consequences. They down for whatever. So as far as this girl, this young lady doing that, I'm not in a position to say she did it on purpose or her grandpa medicine cabinet came out. But I can tell you that there are young kids around the world that seek out ways to be better than the competition, even if it kills them. So to me, that's out of the can. My issue is
you ain't taking that for an excuse. Huh?
Nope, I'm not taking.
But look, her performance tanked anyway, man. She fell out like three different times, and then they said when she went back on the sideline, they was treating her real cold, like asking her, why didn't you keep fighting? Why didn't you keep trying to give your best performance? But quite naturally, man, she got a fucking ton of pressure on her shoulder. And I'm not giving her no excuse because she already in the grease. So they let her perform. She cracked under pressure. She fell down 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah.
And only thing I could think about at that point, because at this point, I think both of us got a 15-year-old daughter. How old is your daughter?
Yeah, Sophia be 16 this year, so she's 15 now.
And Jayla just turned 15. And both of us being, fathers of 15, 16-year-old kids, it's just, to me, it's just like, it's kind of personal when you look at it in that light, because I didn't really think about that until they kept like saying, and she's a 15-year-old girl, this, that, and the third. And when they kept saying it, then it dawned on me. I was like, okay, well, if my goddamn daughter was in that predicament, first off, I would be pissed. But of course, Russia is not a regular country, it's a they under a dictatorship, so they not regular over there. So I mean, like you were saying, I understand your angle on it because they not like we are over here.
I gotta say, we're not any different than Russia. Only thing is, we try to at least make it look a little better. We're not gonna say, hey, we're gonna dope everybody, see what happens. We're gonna at least try to work the angles, because just like Russia, we in it to win it. But again, it really comes down to who's doing the test and stuff, because the country's gonna do what they got to do to win, because it represents them. The people at the Olympics that do the testing and stuff, this is who I have a beef with. I don't have a beef with Russia. I don't have a beef with anybody that's trying to find that angle to win. I have a problem with the organization that says they're over all this and we're going to make sure it's equal. But then when it comes out, some people are treated one way, some people are treated other way.
And I see your argument. I see your argument, and I agree with the argument at this point, because that is true. Favoritism was alive and well in that particular situation. So I see the argument and I agree with it, because I mean, if she was black, that ass would have been sitting down. She would have never got on that ice.
Well, I'm curious about even if she was black, because the easiest topic is to say it was a color issue, but I think if she was American, she wouldn't have got on that ice.
Yeah, well,
but Beijing, China, and Russia, they pretty cool in the game with each other. And I think this is the first time that somebody has been accused of doping and they were able to perform anyway. In my memory of anybody that's been accused of doping, you don't get to perform until we find out if it's true or not.
Right.
You don't perform under suspicion. If we got something on you, got to be clear before you run or before you take the field. So,
yeah, well, at this point, and then they also said they're going to hold medals until the whole issue is sorted out. So whoever plays in the figure skating, you won't be getting your goddamn medal until this shit is figured out with little 15-year-old doper.
Now that's crazy, man, because she didn't even place. She was like, I think in fourth place or something. So them holding medals.
It's still gonna be the medal ceremony for them gonna be postponed because they got a doping scandal in the figure skating situation for the women. So yeah, that's.
Wait a minute, is it for the women or just her?
I think it's just for the women. Yeah, just for the women.
Because I don't think anybody else was accused of doing anything but her, man.
Well, I'm thinking the reason why they saying because she tested positive for drugs in her system. I think it got something to do with the points, that she tallied up in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to go back and take all her points and move all the fucking fourth place motherfuckers up to third place.
She's the fourth place motherfucker.
Now I'm talking about before then. She was busting everybody's ass to get to where she is.
Okay, now I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think that's how it's going. They got to go all the way back and take her totally out of the equation, and then recalculate all those points and take out whoever was fourth, gonna move up to old 33rd, and then so on back up to the first. So that's gonna shift the whole pecking order. So that's probably why they say, okay, none of you motherfuckers ain't getting your gold, silver, or bronze until we figure out why this little girl got high piss over there. No, not high piss, cloudy. She got cloudy piss.
Yeah, I think that all got figured out when she fell down, because all those points didn't mean nothing because she wasn't stacking nothing after that. I think they're gonna still give them their stuff, man. But
they're gonna get medals, but she ain't gonna.
She ain't gonna get a medal even if her stuff come back clear, man. She was done with the falls, but I think the thing they should be looking at is she gonna be safe when she get home.
That shit is conspiracy, though. I think she tanked on purpose, though. And Mother Russia probably gonna punish her ass when she get home, though, because that's Mother Russia is a mean motherfucker, boy.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think she did it on purpose. You got to go home. You want to do anything to win. That's probably why she was crying.
She knew she was she gonna get the whatever, man. That's horrible, though, man. At the end of the day, she's still a fucking kid, man. Yeah, I just don't think it's fair.
That's why I think when it comes to kids performing and stuff, that there should be extra protection over them. Well, not limitations, because some of these kids are just outstanding. I watch some of these kids in X Games on the skateboards and the Olympics on the snowboard at 13. I can never do that stuff, and I don't think they should be held back from their skill set just because of their age. But I do think that they should be protected more. So in the instance with this 15-year-old, she came up hot on the substance and stuff. First of all, I'm blaming everybody that's a handler of her. I'm not blaming her. I'm blaming all the handlers. Second of all, no questions asked. You're not performing.
Right.
This investigation, we stopped and you're not performing. Now, as far as Ms. Richardson, and I don't think this is biased. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. She was tested with a banned substance that is not an enhancement. It is not a human growth hormone at all. If anything, it slows you down. I think that she should have been able to still run. She should have had a fine or something imposed on her, but that shouldn't have stopped her from going to the Olympics. And again, even though she's a lot older, I'm looking at the people that's around her that's handling her, because these Olympic athletes, they got handlers all over them. It's not like they can just walk away and get some weed or something like that, you know. And I'm looking at who was in her party that allowed this to happen or brought it to her.
Somebody probably brought a good brownie or something, boy, but she had the highest quality of THC in her piss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that where that weed at, man, that weed everywhere, man. You can't buy. Look,
man.
If you're in the good old U.S. of A., we got 36 states that approved the one of the greatest plants of all time, the ganja, the marijuana.
It sounds like you want to go into the next episode. We've been beating this to death. It's time for where that weed at.
Hey,
where that weed at?
Where that weed at, man? And on this segment of where that weed at, man, we going to the born state, the state that I was born in and Big Bro was born in, and I'm talking about sweet home Chicago, Illinois.
Yada, yada, yada.
Oh yeah, the Blues Brothers back in the day, boy.
They don't know about that, boy.
We used to love to sing along.
They don't know about that, boy.
Man, the Blues Brothers was the show, man. We used to love to sing along to the Blues Brothers when we was kids, man.
Hey, little known fact, Victor got to play an extra in the Blues Brothers.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Yep, real shit.
Oh, we got it, man. Shit.
Yeah.
So he actually on there?
Yeah, he's one of the actors in the back.
Shit, that's all right.
When they did the downtown thing with Aretha Franklin, You Better Think, and the people out in the street dancing and stuff. Vic out there. I forget what scene he in, but he back there.
Man,
we got a superstar in the midst.
Yeah, big cousin Vic, man. Shout out to cousin Vic. I'm Bernice, Orlando. Love y'all. But yeah, man, that movie there, man. As a kid, hell, I could watch that movie like back to back to back, man. We never, because they had the parts in it where they were singing. That was always the most explosive parts, you know.
Yeah.
And was John Belushi and
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd. And I remember those actors' names vividly, like yesterday, because y'all used to say their names, you know. Back in the day, that was big shit. The names of characters.
Yeah. On
that fucking black and white TV we had.
Hey,
Louisiana, that came on regular TV?
Louisiana, well, at that time it finally came on I think HBO. But when it came out, man, where we could see it, Louisiana couldn't tell us nothing, boy. We was like Chicago representing. We against everybody around here. We are the Blues Brothers.
For sure. All right, man. Let me get back into this this segment of where that weed at, man.
Where that weed at?
This is a kind of new situation right here, because I'm looking at some of this information. Y'all can fact check it, but I got the facts. They said Illinois passed a Cannabis Control Act back in 1978. Okay, so way back in 78, they was already on top of the technology for medical marijuana. So they passed it so that the hospitals and stuff could use it way back then in 78 for medical purposes.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to, I think, 2020, yeah. May 31st, 2019, Governor J.B. Przerky, that's how you...
Not J.G. Wentworth.
not Wentworth, but J.B. Przerky signed the bill into law on June 25th.
Yeah.
But so I guess he signed it into law to where the recreational use could be allowed in the city, and all of the dispensaries and the grow houses and shit could come about.
Yeah.
But the marijuana use has been in full effect on the medical end in Illinois since 1978. That's probably what I was born in 74, so I'm 47, so that's shit. And that's been in effect for damn near over 40 years, man. You know what I'm saying? That just goes to show, like, the purpose, the power, and the promise of medical marijuana. Not on a man, let's smoke some weed level, but people have really been using marijuana, you know, on a higher level, literally for medical purposes such as pain, you know, seizures and stuff like that. You can't stress that stuff enough, man, because I was looking at something on TV today. I just was flipping through TV, and it was on what was it? It was on National Geographic Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Not to jump off the subject, but this cop, he had arrested a guy. He had about 20, looked like dime bags of marijuana in a coffee can. He had a little scale, you know, so they was gonna charge him with possession with intent to distribute. But no telling who he was selling the weed to. You know, he was obviously a little weed man in his area. And no, he was sitting on the lake fishing, and I guess he got busted for suspicion, or he probably was smoking the weed while he was out there fishing. But in this day and time, I think he was somewhere up near Alaska, somewhere in Nebraska, because it was on the National Geographic Channel, and they only showed these cop shows in those like rural areas out there. And he was a black guy. I was surprised that he was black. So, but anyway, in this day and time, man, people are still getting arrested, still doing time, still locked up for large quantities of marijuana that they got busted with. And I'm gonna say it's ridiculous. As a matter of fact, I caught a misdemeanor marijuana charge like years ago. It was over 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I supposedly had 2 nickel bags of weed. That was shy of a gram. Okay. They charged me with possession with intent to distribute. Okay, which became a felony. And I had to do 6 months in jail behind 2 nickel bags of marijuana. So at the end of the day, the marijuana usage has been around for a long time. Marijuana sales has been around for a long time. And then it's almost like a slap in the face when you went to jail for it, or people are still going to jail for it, and it's legalized in 36 states. That's almost half of the states, right?
That's over half.
Yeah. So it's a slap in the face. Yeah, because it's 50 states, 25. But yeah, over half. So you when you think about it from that standpoint, if you've been through something with the marijuana, you know, it's a slap in the face, man. You know.
Well, so this is my take on it, John. That first around, marijuana, when you look at the history of marijuana, the only reason it was made illegal was because of the people that were known to smoke it.
Right.
So that's another racism ticket we could talk about until the cows come on. But when we talk about today in this present age, with all the states that are legalizing, whether it's for medicinal use or for medical use, it is deploring that they are still locking up people for marijuana. If anything, they should be letting more people out that's still incarcerated because of a marijuana charge. I know Illinois, it's probably over 11,000 people that's been released. That same governor you was talking about gave clemency to about 11,000 people for the marijuana charge. And I think the mayor of Chicago was pushing for even more. I have to look into that. But that's where we should be going as far as the judicial and legal system should be doing. They should be trying to clear the house of anybody that was incarcerated due to marijuana. Now, if they were like doing crack or, some other stuff, that's another situation that's on the book they need to work. But as far as marijuana, the reason I'm so strong about that is because these 36 states are getting money off of marijuana. I don't care what the federal law says, because a lot of people argue with me and say, well, the states are doing it, but it's still a federal law against marijuana. Yeah, well, guess what? These states are collecting tax money that's getting paid to the federal for that. So if that's the case,
what they paying? What is that, state tax or federal tax?
Well, they're going to be paid federal tax on that too, but it doesn't matter. The fact that in that state, it's legal for people to sell it. And this is my point. How can you have somebody in jail for marijuana in the same state where there's a businessman or a businesswoman paying taxes on the same thing?
Legally, yeah.
Yeah. So that it should cancel it out. And I know a lot of people like, well, they're in jail. Before that, it should happen. I'm calling bullshit. And I'm going to bring this all the way back to slavery. Guess what? There were slaves before the Emancipation Proclamation. That don't mean that they're supposed to stay slaves.
Exactly.
The same thing goes with the marijuana.
That's a great point.
If you incorporate legalizing marijuana, which should have been done ages ago, we should have that ratified.
78.
I think before 78.
Yeah.
But again, we'll do history and we'll do a comment on that. As soon as it was legalized, they should have started doing paperwork to expunge records and clear people of marijuana charges. Because when you look at it in the first place, that should have been made illegal because it was put in place for racist reasons. But once you open the door and said it's legal, there's no reason why people should still be in jail, serving time, or even on probation when they live in a state where it's legalized. And I'm going to get off the horse on that.
Well, that was some great points, man. A lot of times when we bounce around these points on marijuana or trucking or the Olympics, current events, period. People need to hear the open-minded thoughts behind it and our point of views, because need to be heard, man. Open up your mind to what's really going on. And everybody, some people agree, some people disagree.
Yeah.
Who cares? So, hey, we agree. We agree with what's going on.
I hear what you're saying, buddy, but who cares?
That's
Me and
right.
my brother agree. So who cares?
That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Man, but Jonathan, another hot topic that we could probably do one podcast just on. I'm going to give a shameless plug to myself before we move on to the next thing. If I ever toss my hat in the ring to become president of the United States, that's going to be something that I'm going to change with the quickness.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'll run for any type of office.
It's got to be the presidency, because that's where you can have the power to change it on a national level. And the reason I'm going to do that is because one of the problems that people keep arguing back and forth for, and the answer is right in the middle, is that America needs money to work. We're a capitalist society, and things can't move forward if people don't have money to spend. If they would just clean the slate and legalize marijuana in the United States, all 50 states and territories, because we got some territories out there. You know what kind of revenue we could bring in just for people coming to the states to smoke marijuana alone? We can clear all kind of slates. We can build all kind of things. But they got some people that want to stay that way because they make money on certain Americans being broke and incarcerated. So mark my word, if I run for president, first of all, I can't be running Republican or Democrat because both parties don't see it the way I am. It's going to be strictly independent, so I'm going to need everybody to vote. But I guarantee you, I'm going to shake things up because I'm trying to fix stuff in 4 years, not 8 years or 10 years, like some of these politicians that get up there and tell you that big lie. So
Pony B for president.
That's right. Pony B for president, man.
Pony B for president.
You're going to be my director of transportation. Get these truckers and stuff right.
Oh, yeah. I chime in and bring in the most brilliant truck driving minds we got out there, and we'll get a lot of shit done. For sure.
Sir.
Hey, moving right along, man. I talked to a good friend of mine this week. OGY, Gary Young, man.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all met when y'all was in the Army.
Yeah, some old Army talk.
He was telling me some old military stories about when he was in basic training, about a guy was hating on him when he had his goals and stuff when they got out of basic. And he told me he was in Missouri somewhere. But he saw episode 4 with the Airborne situation. He went Airborne too.
Yeah.
Gary was also Airborne.
Yeah, that's why he's at Bragg.
Yeah, and he was talking about it. He was like, oh, he was excited as hell. He was like, oh man, I saw your brother had the Airborne. Man, I was Airborne too, man. I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, I like to come on the podcast too and talk about what I was doing in the Army. I was like, man, hell, we might have you up as a guest, after we finish these 8. And he was real excited about it. And he got the best of both worlds. He's a veteran and a trucker. So he's both of us in one.
Yeah, that'd be a great guest.
Oh yeah, Gary, man. He was happy as hell to see it, man. He was like ecstatic. Like, oh man, I saw it, man. I used to jump out the airplanes too. He went to telling his little stories. I was like, yeah, cool, man. You probably do need to come on there so you and Harvey could kick it around a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And tell y'all favorite part of falling out that goddamn shit. I don't think I could have ever did that, man. Y'all some brave, crazy motherfuckers for that one, boy. Wow. Because I ain't doing it.
It take a special brand. You wouldn't believe how many people in the Army would never jump out of plane. So let me be the first to tell you, we cut from a different cloth. Those that not just volunteer to go to Airborne school, but to make it through the school, because it's very physically and mentally demanding.
So what was the most physical thing about it, man, to you, like that you could remember that stands out?
The most physical thing about it for me was the running and learning how to fall, because most of the school is teaching you how to fall from a certain height. When people normally fall, they reach for the ground. They try to brace themselves, and you might be able to do that if you slip off some steps. But if you do it from outside the plane or on top of the building, you're going to break something. So we had to learn how to fall. And basically our falls is just like the people on parkour. You ever see those people jumping around from building to building, doing those rolls and stuff? Yeah.
Well, look, tell the people how many feet that y'all were falling from first.
Well, it depends. Sometimes we can go up to 1,200, 1,300 feet. If we're doing combat jumps or something like that, it could be 800 feet. If we're jumping the actual combat, they can even drop us as low as 300 feet.
That's pretty fast. So as you jump up,
by the time your parachute open up, you hit the ground.
So how many minutes would you say if you had to fall 3? Do you know right off the top of your head? 300 feet?
Right off the top of my head, it won't be a matter of minutes. It'll be a matter of seconds.
So you are basically falling about how many miles per hour?
You know what? I forgot how fast we were falling. I was going to say
that's pretty
5 or something.
Fast.
But there's a reason why we fall fast. And people used to ask me all the time, why y'all can't just fall like the other people and land on your feet? Glide around and do circles and stuff.
Like a hang glider, huh?
Or the parachuters that, do the competition stuff.
Oh, yeah, with the little things.
Yeah, they could do that. And we got parachutes with the toggles, too, where you could do that. But the main reason why we fall as fast as we do and get to the ground in a big heat is because we're training to jump out of the plane when people are shooting at us. And the last thing you want to do is be stagnant in the air where somebody get a good bead on you and light your ass up. So
you posing and catch a chest.
Yeah, we want to come in, and that's another reason why we practice jumping at night. We don't want nobody to see us, and if they do see us, we don't want them to get a bead on us because we trying to jump in, usually behind the line, get on the ground, and light their ass up.
Okay, so tell me, I remember back in the day when I asked you questions about jumping out the plane. I remember like yesterday, you was telling me when you land, you have to bend your legs or your knees a certain way when you hit the ground. Tell me about. Tell the people about that.
It's called a parachute landing fall, or PLF. This is another big part of Airborne school. You learn how to fall to absorb the shock so you don't break anything. Again, I refer back to the parkour people in the streets. They're doing basically a parachute landing fall. You would never see one of them just hit and run. They're either going to do a roll or a slide. And basically what it is, your feet, the first thing that come in contact is going to travel that energy all the way up through your body to your back.
So that's a shock situation.
Yeah.
The impact.
It's an impact release. So it's not hitting one area in particular.
What's the injuries? What's the injury risk? What's the risk of injuries if you land wrong? I'm sure you could elaborate on that.
Let me first tell you that there's an injury risk if you land right. Because again, you're jumping out of a damn plane that's doing 150 miles an hour. So
you coming down 55 miles per hour.
Somewhere like that. For 55, you probably slow down to like 12 or something like that. Because I don't think you can hit the ground at 55 and not snap something off. But
with the parachute, you slow down 12 miles per hour.
It slows you down pretty significantly, depending on the weather, depending on how the wind's blown. But as far as your question about injuries, you can snap your ankle, you can break your foot, you can snap your kneecaps out, you can break your back. I got a partner of mine, he did the right thing. He jumped, he landed, but he hit the ground so hard, broke his back.
Damn.
So it's definitely a risk. I've landed on my head a couple of times. I've been knocked out probably like 6 or 7 times. But I put it the same way as somebody playing professional football. It's fun. You get to run, but every once in a while, Mother Nature gonna tag that ass.
So you say you probably been knocked out about 6 times. So you probably suffered a concussion. And,
probably, but
amongst other things.
In the military at the time where you doing all this stuff, unless you broken up, we usually just shake it off and go on to the next mission. And it's the same thing as football players. There's a lot of football players that don't find out that they got serious injuries to after they get out the military or after they get out of the NFL. Same thing with the military. I started having problems once I got out, but when you look at my record, you don't see any notations of me being knocked out. You might see somewhere I landed on my neck and I had to go to the hospital because I couldn't move, but you won't see any of those KOs.
Right. And so
Airborne KOs.
I got another couple of Roger questions and we're gonna jump off of this. Okay, so your jump count. What's your jump count? And then what's the ending of it? Like when do they decide that, okay, Baker, that's enough jumps for you? So if you had to say how many times you jump,
I'll answer the last question first. They never tell you it's enough jumps. As long as you're physically fit, they're gonna get you in that plane, they're gonna let you jump out. Now my jumps is about 45, and I say about 45 because when I was a young paratrooper, I didn't know I was supposed to keep my jump log with me. So when I went to Germany and came back, I had like 6 jumps missing. I was like, hey, I jumped before I left. Why isn't it in the record? It was like, well, you should have kept a hold of your jump log. So I got some jumps that are missing, but for the ones that I have, it's about 45 jumps that I could say that I have. Now, when it came for me to end it, it was because I was leaving the Airborne unit. You don't get to jump in every unit. You have to be in a special unit that is authorized for people to jump out of planes.
Well, what about the beret? You had a beret one time when you came home.
That was one of the indicators that the unit is an airborne unit. We are authorized to wear a maroon beret.
I wanted one of them motherfucking berets, man. I really
they top shit.
Nigga got a beret, man. What a fucking that beret was fresh, man.
Hey, that beret was like that beret of power. I'll put it on right now, boy. My whole demeanor changed.
Yeah, I remember that, man. It meant a lot. It meant a lot to me as a kid to see that fucking beret, man. I was like, damn, my brother got on a beret, man. And it kind of give you that thought in your head. There's some serious shit going on there's a whole nother world of a whole nother world that you're in that I don't even know about. That was always intriguing to me. So I'm just busting these questions like off the top of my dome. I don't have no goddamn notes. So,
that's all right. I'm here to answer. And if it's too long, that's what we got the edit button for. But I can tell you that beret and those wings on my chest, to me was the equivalent of being a superhero status.
Right.
When I had that beret on and those wings, I'll put it to you this way. I was in unfuckwittable status every time I was wearing it. And
that's how you're supposed to feel, man.
And when I go places, I don't care if it was somebody that was higher ranking than me. If they didn't have those wings on and that beret, they saw me as unfuckwittable. People back off of people that's airborne. And you can always tell somebody that's jumped out of a plane and stuff, because it never really leaves them. You know, they might be slow, they might be a little quiet, they might have seen some stuff, but start talking about jumping out of planes and watch them light up.
Yeah. Yeah. So so the beret was, so what was the status? It was like what did they call it?
No, they just called it a maroon beret. So when you're in the military, you have to wear headgear. And at that time, when I was in, the regular Army just wore like BDU caps and stuff.
Right.
People that was airborne status, they got to wear maroon berets. And at the time, people that were Rangers, they got to wear the black berets. Now that's changed. The last time that I checked, everybody in the military gets to wear beret. They wear the black beret. And the people that used to wear the black beret, the Rangers, they wear a tan beret.
Okay.
But the airborne personnel still wear the maroon beret.
Right. So that's permanently y'all's identity as an airborne.
Yeah, they still trying to take it from us and stuff. And
so what's the difference? Not to cut you off, I don't want to lose my thought. What's the difference between airborne ranger and airborne?
Okay. The biggest difference is the airborne ranger has already been to airborne school, and they have the ranger identifier, which pretty much makes them a little more badass. They got more infantry type training. Now, you could be airborne without being ranger, like myself. I'm not ranger qualified, I'm airborne, but there are some rangers that are not airborne qualified.
Right. So what would you say to any young buck out there looking and watching and hearing about this airborne? What would you advise anybody that's aspiring to go into the military branch of the Army? What would you say to those youngsters out there, men and women, young men and women?
I would tell them two things, because it's two levels of the thing. First and foremost, if you're looking to join the military, do some research of what you're getting into. I'm not going to be someone to tell you that the military is perfect. I'm not going to be the person to tell you the military is going to take care of you, but the military is a great option, and it gets even better if you make a plan on what you're going to do. And when I say a plan, what you're going to spend that first paycheck on. What is your outcome from your first 4 years in the military? Are you looking to go to school? Are you looking to buy a house? Are you looking to start a business? And all those things need to be decided before you raise your right hand and come into the military. Now, if you're somebody like me that you haven't decided what you want to do, but you were physically fit as a kid, or maybe you had junior ROTC under your belt, I say use all those little knowledge pieces that you got to come in and be the best soldier you can be. And if you can pass airborne school, go in and knock it out, because all those things matter. I'd say go for it.
One last question before we wrap it up. I wanted to ask, what was your highest ranking when you retired from your military career?
I retired as an enlisted man, a sergeant first class, which is an E7. The highest I can actually go would be to E9, but I made it to E7. Most people in the enlisted branch, they make it to E7. Very few make it to E8, E9. I got a lot of brothers and sisters that made it up there, and they were excellent leaders. For myself, I learned a little too late that when you get to the level of E7, there's a lot of politics going on, and you got to pay attention to that. I had a sergeant major, I'm not going to say his name, but he told me, and he told me well, he said, Sergeant Baker, the reason you can't move anywhere is because you like to fight too damn much. And I said, I don't like to fight, Sergeant Major. I'm just trying to get promoted. What are you talking about? He said, you fighting with me now. You got to know that there's some battles that you can win and some battles that's unwinnable. You got to choose your battles. And the problem with me, I was, anybody that knew me in the military, I was hardcore military. I didn't give a damn who you thought you was or who your daddy or your mama was. If it came down to the regulation and what we did in the military, I'll put myself up against anybody. And that works from E1 to E6 because you're getting promoted based on points and stuff and going at. But once you come to E7, you go to what's called a centralized board. And no matter how good you are, there are people that sit on that board that decide if you're going to get the next rank or not. For me, being Mr. Piss and Vinegar, there's a lot of people on that board that saw my name was like, oh, hell no. Not that
this
guy.
Motherfucker
He ain't get, don't give it. Matter of fact, I'm going to call up there if I'm not on the board. You make sure that motherfucker don't get promoted. And it sounds cruel, but people that have been in the military, and especially those that know me, they know it's absolutely true. So I spent about 7 years getting passed over. And they kept telling me, hey, you'll get promoted next time because I was fast tracking. I made E7 in about 10 years. So I was fast tracking. But because I heard a lot of feelings and stepped on a lot of toes, there was some stuff against me to get promoted. Now, if I would stayed in longer, it probably would have slid down and I probably got promoted. But when I got to the 20-year mark and I saw nothing was changing, but everybody was trying to intimidate me, I was like, you know what? I did my 20 years successfully. I have no shame about what I did. I can look every soldier that fell under me in the eye and said, I did my best for you, and I still have their respect. So I'm going to get out. And that's why I got out right after 20.
Well said. Well done. And thank you for your service. And there y'all have it, folks. Hey, a full segment from yours truly, Sergeant Harvey Baker Jr., man. He just went on into it. He went back to the Army for a quick minute.
Hey, you never leave it, man. You never leave it.
Come back to civilian. Come back, man. I took him back right quick. I dug into the mind of a 20-year veteran for a quick minute. All right, moving right along, bro. What else you got, man?
Well, I'm gonna make it real quick because we took a little while in that. And I usually talk about my personal health segment because your health is your wealth. And this is something that I think has kept me active because of all those years in the military. Staying fit requires work. And you can't just jump in there. The older you get, the harder it is to just jump in there and do it. So I'm always going to stress to do your best to do some stretching. The stretching exercise I want to talk to right now is something that we make fun of in the military. We make fun of it in the civilian world, but it's something that can actually help you. It's called hip rotations. And the hip rotation is basically when you put your hands on your hips and you just go ahead and rotate in either clockwise manner or counterclockwise. And you do that a couple of times. When you're doing that, you loosen up the hip flexors, you loosen up the waist, you loosen up the joints. So if you want to do something like jogging, running, bicycling, it loosens up things for you. And one of the biggest injuries that we have when we get older is not because we can't lift the weight and stuff. It's because the muscle group or the joints haven't been warmed up in the tendons and we mess around and tear something. So make sure you're out there doing that stretch. And I'm just throwing that one out there because that's the easiest one. And you want to do you a couple of repetitions, maybe 15 times in one direction, 15 times in other directions. Do that 3 times. Find you another stretching exercise to do before you do actual calisthenics. So, like I said, short and sweet. Do those hip rotations. Have fun with it. If you got a loved one, let them do the hip rotation in front of you. And you probably do more than 15 to 20 rotations. So,
all right.
Have fun. Get the exercise in.
Right on. All right. Before we get out of here, man, y'all don't forget about the old Mardi Gras mumble out there. You dig?
Oh,
Fat Tuesday is on
yeah.
March the 1st. You know what I'm saying? And I seen the parades rolling in Homer and Thibodaux in New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. Oh yeah, well, most of those places up there, Shreveport and stuff, I think they only have one parade, which is on Fat Tuesday, probably Monroe too. But you know, way down south where we from in Thibodaux, New Orleans, Homer, Baton Rouge.
Lafourche Parish, baby.
Yeah, Lafourche Parish, all the surrounding areas, they take
Parish.
off for a whole week. That's a real holiday down there. They get out of school for the whole week. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get y'all some king cake. Y'all get drunk. Public drunkenness is a normal thing. I ain't gonna say it's a given. It's actually damn near legal down there when you when you down south of Mardi Gras. So y'all have fun, man.
Hey, Jonathan, you know I always like to do a historical perspective on anything we talk about, and Mardi Gras is not an exception because when we moved down to Louisiana for good in 1978, this became part of our tradition every year. Like you said, you get out of school for a week. Mardi Gras was the thing. It's going to be 4 or 5 parades. You got to go to all of them. You have your bag. Oh, yeah. Everybody knows how to say, throw me something, mister. But here's some of the things I want to point out. And I really hope they come back. Some people might get offended, but I'm just telling my truth. So not meaning to offend you. We gave that disclaimer earlier. I really enjoyed when people would get out in the street and just dance. I'm not just talking about, our mama who would dance at drop of the hat, no matter who watching. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about old and young couples from different backgrounds, different genres, different sides of the track, different sides of the bayou. When they hear that Mardi Gras mambo before that first float come there, you might see them hold hands and dance and drop and laugh and smack each other on the butt. And this is something that used to make me go, wow, I'm in the right place. Just imagine in Louisiana, some
togetherness.
Some Cajun dude then got out in the middle of the street drunk. He got on some high cut blue jean shorts and some boots, and the black crowd hyping him up. And there's a black woman out there, and they going at it, and everybody's clapping, and everybody's having a good time. Nobody's fighting. One of the other things I remember that was a shocker was the women used to go with no shirts on and have their breasts painted, either in a flower or puppy dog eyes and stuff. And they would walk around and nobody would touch them. It was just like, hey, you're free to look, just don't touch. In New Orleans, and I saw it a couple of times in Thibodaux, but most times in New Orleans, women would lift their shirts up to flash the crowd, and they would just rain beads on them. But nobody would touch them. And the reason I'm saying that is because we've gotten to a point to where going to Mardi Gras is dangerous. You know, somebody will shoot you over some beads. If a woman lift up her shirt, 5 or 6 people will reach over there and assault her. And it's sad that it's gotten that way. And one of my wishes was be that if we can go back to Thibodaux and people can reharness that time when for that week or so, they said, hey, we're going to let all the hate go and we're just going to be one family of enjoyment till Ash Wednesday comes here, because those are some of the most memorable times in my life going down to Louisiana, because I was really scared shitless when we moved there, but it was something about Mardi Gras that made everything okay for a little while.
Yeah, Mardi Gras break used to seem so long when I was in elementary school. Yeah. I didn't realize that it was a week long, which was 7 whole motherfucking days. Yeah. And only thing I knew is that we was out of school and we was going to the parade, to every goddamn parade. And my mama used to tell us, y'all get out there and y'all better not get ran over by a float.
Yep.
We used to be hustling beads. We used to
have so much beads and candy.
Man, we want that candy.
That'll get back into another hustle, because back then you get some good beads, you clean them off, you could sell them jokers.
Hell yeah.
You know, so it was always a hustle.
Remember that one year we had a float? My mama had did a damn.
Oh, the Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. Or is the Ebony Ivory float? No, it was the Ebony Ivory float.
So one of them motherfuckers.
We had to sing that damn song. Yeah, I remember she had her DJ equipment on there. We were supposed to be marching behind it. Float took off, and we couldn't even do our march. We had to run, try to catch up with it.
Let me shout out Uncle Johnny and Cat, number one. Y'all keep on watching us.
What's up, Colonel?
Yeah,
Smith Code Designs.
Johnny. Uncle Daniel, they had the military ball last night. Go ahead, R.
Oh man, I wish I could have seen that.
Not military, Mardi Gras ball shit.
The Shaka Zulu.
But you know, whatever organization that Uncle Daniel belonged to.
I think it's the Crew of Shaka.
Yeah, well, they went to his ball last night.
Yeah, maybe we could try to pull some pictures from them so we can showcase them. You know, hey, if y'all got some Mardi Gras pictures y'all want us to post on here, after Mardi Gras pictures, send them in to me and my brother, and we do our best to get them on one of our podcasts. Last thing about Mardi Gras, I want to put out a little known fact, you know, shamelessly plugging myself. The year before I went to the Army, I got to march in every last parade in Thibodeau.
Yeah.
I marched in every parade because that was my last year, junior ROTC. Yeah. And I marched in every parade. Man, my dogs was killing me, but I was so proud to be in the front of every parade before I left. So
who was in that lineup with you? You remember your 12th grade year, your class, your ROTC buddies?
Well, some of them wasn't in all of them because everybody wasn't marching every parade. They volunteered for it. I think Eric was in some. I think Calvin was in some. Some of the younger troops, you know, they were in it a lot because my job, I was a cadet command sergeant major. It was to make sure that they were all right, taken care of. But I don't have any pictures of that because my mom wasn't there, y'all wasn't there, and
we was in Chicago.
Yeah. So if anybody out there got any pictures of the Thibodeau Mardi Gras parades from 1988, I would love to see if y'all got a glimpse of me because I was in every last one of them, but nobody don't know it.
You might want to Google search the newspaper, the Daily Comment. You might be able to find it in there, though.
Yeah, I want to see the video.
Yeah, somebody might have it. I doubt. Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna doubt it because people had video recorders back in the day.
Yeah, there's somebody that's got a video of me when I won all state for the drill team, and I don't know who's got it, but I remember them videotaping me when I went down and I was spinning the rifle on my back. So
yeah, the drill competition.
Yeah. Good memories. But yeah, that's enough for going down memory lane. I think we hit our mark a long time ago.
We got
a lot of stuff we talked about. Yeah. So y'all got the extended clip version of the First and Fifth Son podcast.
Shout out to all the supporters, man. Y'all, hey, hit that follow button. Thank y'all for the views. Yeah. And we got more content to come. Stay tuned.
Tell your friends about it. Tell them to subscribe. We're going to build this number up. So
tell your mama them shit.
Yeah. Let your mama know about it. They know us. Tell your mama about us. But thank you. John to stop by. Barbara Baker, oldest son, the Army dude, stopped by because nobody ever remember my name. And we said, hey.
Chris Baker and them.
Yeah.
Talk about Chris Smith, Baker.
Chris Baker. Jacqueline and Teresa, big brother.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Deuces.
I'm busting blocks in my Chevy, busting blocks in my Chevy. I ain't got no fucking diamonds, but I'm shining. I'm busting blocks in my Chevy, busting blocks in my Chevy. I ain't got no fucking diamonds, but I'm shining. I'm the shit. I'm busting blocks in my Chevy, busting blocks in my Chevy. I ain't got no fucking diamonds, but I'm shining. I'm the shit. I'm busting blocks in my Chevy, busting blocks in my Chevy. I ain't got no fucking diamonds, but I'm shining. I'm the shit.